1, 2, 3. We are starting off rubbing elbows, and we have the beautiful top producer,
That's right.
according to Women's Council Realtors Los Angeles, Zillow, and pretty much LA County.
Everywhere.
We have Tereza Toramanyan.
You nailed it.
Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And I also want to say, parabéns,
I'm so proud of you. Oh my God. Love doing spaces.
Shut love.
Look at you. Nailed it.
Thank you. Thank you. That is from high school, Bravo High. To all the Armenians that had me as like family by their side, I appreciate the lessons.
Well worth it.
Okay, well, I want to say thank you for your time today. I know you were a hit the other night for Women's Council Realtors Los Angeles. And because you were fabulous, Rubbing Elbows was like, we got to get this girl on the show. You have so much fire in you, and we wanted you to share it with us. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me and for noticing that fire. Some people just walk past it and you stopped.
Girl,
you know,
I had my hands out getting warmed up. What are you talking about?
I
was
love
like,
it.
where is this? Where
I'm
is
so
this coming
excited
from?
to be here.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about your background. I was doing some research the other day, and it was funny to me that National Association of Realtors was stating that the typical realtor is of 56 age, white, and female. And I was looking at our top producers that we had that night, and every single one broke the mold.
That's right.
And here you are, making sure that mold does not fit whatsoever.
Absolutely.
Right? And I thought that was something special. So I wanted to ask you a few questions on what made you do what you're doing today. And I did some stalking, actually. Let's see. You did an interview with Voyage LA. And you said you moved to the United States at the age of 13. And you had a very thick accent.
That's accurate. It's still there. If you pay attention, it's still there.
So based off that, I wanted to ask you, what was it like coming into the country at that age?
May I just say, you know, when I was 13 and I moved to the United States, never in a million years did I think I would be here, even now having this podcast with you. And every moment I just pause, I take a moment to myself to be like, who would have thought, right? I was going through a culture shock, you know, being in a classroom full of many different cultures, people from different backgrounds, and not speaking English well, having that accent, being picked on and bullied in middle school because of the accent and because I was different, you know? And then being here today and being asked to speak at events, being asked to motivate others, being asked to guide others that have been born here, that have had completely different opportunities, right? So for me, it's a shock on a daily basis where I have to like remind myself, oh my God, where did I come from? How did I get here? And what a journey it's been. And so much more to accomplish still, right? You know, and honestly, you mentioned why are you doing what you're doing? You know, they say in order to succeed in any field, you got to find an area that needs, that there is a problem, and then you got to be the solution. And I myself was a client. I was in the process of buying and selling a home, and I realized there's so many realtors out there. Not all of them are really good. Not all of them are really honest. Not all of them are in it for the right reasons to really take care of a client. Buying or selling a home is someone's most important and biggest financial decision. And they go through different emotions in that process. So having someone that's really in it to take care of you, to hold your hand, to guide you through the process and not just to make a paycheck is so crucial. I wanted to become that someone for others.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And that's actually really true because you can't hold each real estate agent to the same standard.
Absolutely.
Everyone brings something to the table. Absolutely. And that was one thing that interested me about you is your background.
Yes.
So you mentioned that you started working as a bank teller, right? And then you worked your way up as a branch manager.
That's correct.
And then, so that was part of Wells Fargo.
That's right.
And then you went into working with Apple.
That's right.
So tell me a little bit about your responsibilities there as far as Wells Fargo and Apple.
Sure.
And what experiences from those jobs did you take to your real estate business?
That's such a great question, because when people ask me, how do I become you? How do I do what you do? And I don't know how to tell them. You can't become me unless you've gone through all the steps that I've gone through.
Absolutely. You haven't walked in my shoes.
Exactly. And not in a way where I'm looking down on them and saying, oh, you can't do this. Everyone can do this. I encourage others. So many people I've inspired to get into real estate and do really well in real estate. But my journey is unique to me, just like everyone's journey is unique to them. So, Wells Fargo, working my way up from being a teller to assistant manager, branch manager, and so on, I was responsible at the last position that I held. I was responsible for 56 individuals, and I was running the show. And I remember that it hit me at that point where I said, okay, in order for me to get to the district manager level, there's all these people that are way ahead of me because they've been doing it for so long. Seniority was so important, especially in corporate levels. You have to spend a certain amount of years slaving before you can get to the next level. And I thought, I don't want to be 50, 60, 70 and wait my turn to be a district manager. I don't want to be idle. I want a challenge. I want something else. I want to add to my skill set.
Something of your own.
Something of my own. And then an opportunity came up where, I was obsessed with Apple. I was obsessed with everything. It's the simplicity, the marketing, the product. I was just in love. And an opportunity came up and someone suggested, why don't you become a manager at Apple? I was having a conversation with a friend and I thought, I never thought about that. It's such a different world from the corporate Wells Fargo to going to the casual sneakers, ripped jeans and T-shirts type of work environment. Very different. So I became a manager at Apple. And what I did is I took all my corporate level knowledge from Wells Fargo, all the professional stuff, how to provide customer service, how to really be in it to please the customer. The saying, customer is always right, that stuck with me from Wells Fargo days. We had scripts at Wells Fargo to ensure that the customer has an excellent service from A to Z. So taking all of that from Wells Fargo and then going to Apple, where it's a marketing genius. There's so many things at Apple that you don't even know about, but there's thought process behind every detail. From the second that you enter the store, from the angle that the laptops are placed, from the angle that the phones are placed. We force the clients, I don't know if I'm allowed to share this Apple stuff, but we force the clients to come close to the phone and to touch it before they can see what's on the screen. So we make you fall in love with the product without even realizing we just made you fall in love with the product. So I took away a lot of marketing techniques from Apple, which was huge. And then I combined it with my corporate knowledge. And then I brought it together. I meshed it into this version of me, right? And then I brought it into real estate with me. And when I got into real estate, that's when I realized the sky's the limit. That's when I realized I'm responsible for my own success. If I want to do better, I work harder. If I want to do better, I spend more hours at the office. If I want to do better, I help more people. So I knew that I'm fully responsible for my own success. No one else.
That's excellent. And I love the fact that you mentioned you're not going to be able to mimic the
That's
same
right.
things, even if I go into training with you,
That's
because
right.
what you had to go through being a bank teller, starting from intro, right, to work your way up as a branch manager, dealing with any client issues,
That's
any
right.
banking issues, whether it be a home loan or a checking account, and then creating an idea of how to handle that type of service and taking that customer service to you with Apple, a very corporate professional setting
Yes.
into a casual
Yes.
professional setting,
Yes.
right? And then marrying the two into your
this.
business.
Ta-da.
That's wicked. That's so wicked.
Right here.
Yeah. And I think a lot of younger agents don't realize that your work ethic is built in
Absolutely.
these other corporations,
That's right.
in these other businesses. And it could be even just a mall job, right?
That's right.
But you're building your work ethic, and that's what you did. You built your work ethic foundation
That's right.
through those jobs. And that's very commendable.
And the fact that you go back to the roots, I think it's so important in when you try to get to know anyone, is just finding out where do they come from, what have they gone through,
What makes them tick?
what makes them tick. and really, they say, how long have you been doing real estate? 5 years. And they're like, no way, you've only done this in 5 years. But what they don't realize is I moved to America when I was 12. I started working when I was 13. I've been doing this since I was 13.
Yeah.
I've been working with people. Real estate is not just about selling homes. It's how do you help people? How do you interact with people? How do you get to know them, for them to trust you, to open up to you, to, funny story. Yesterday, I called a client. I'm like, hey, can I have your social security number? And he gives it to me. And then we continue talking. And he goes, by the way, what did I give you my social for? It was for a form I was helping him fill out. And the level of trust that I have with my clients, and that means everything to me. So I'm not doing real estate since I was 5. I'm helping for 5 years. I'm helping people since I've been 13 years old, right? So I've worked my way up. I've gotten myself to this level. So I appreciate you for digging deep and finding out, where does she come from?
Yeah, because I feel like it's really important to understand someone's foundation in
right.
business. Now, it doesn't have to be a proper education.
That's right.
Right? It's a matter of where your experiences come from, how you pulled from those experiences, and how you apply it to business today.
That's right.
So I love the fact that that was just one thing that I put on my notes, like, wow, that's really awesome. Because I actually also come from a background of banking, technically more on the loan side. But I started off at Countrywide as customer service. So I was in BNC collections. So those phone calls were not fun. You're calling people on the second of the month like, hey, your mortgage is due. It's like, God damn. It's only the second day that my mortgage is due.
You.
Why are you calling me? But, I had to do it with a smile and make a little joke about it. You're like, I already know. But again, building that customer service, right? So whatever industry it may be, it's an integral part of the real estate business.
Absolutely.
Do you feel having a college education was something that was needed along with your work experience, or do you feel you pulled more from your work experience into your current business today?
Great question. Let me tell you something. If you follow Gary Vee, he says, you don't need education. You don't need a high school diploma. You don't need a college degree. I love the guy. I follow him. I listen to him. But when he says that, I cringe inside, because many, especially immigrants, I think they know this. They come to the United States to create a better future for their kids. And that better future includes having a degree, includes taking advantage of the education system available and making something of yourself. So not having a college degree was not an option, and I could never do that to my family. So I absolutely have a bachelor's degree. I got it in finance. Do I think it helped me succeed and get to the next level? I don't know, but what it did, it gave me a sense of pride, like check mark, accomplishment, right? Because I did it while being a full-time manager at Wells Fargo. So when people tell me you can't do college and full-time work, bullshit. Yes, you can. You just don't want it hard enough. That's why you haven't been able to. So I got the degree, I put a check mark, I made my family proud, I made myself proud, right? And also now that I have a daughter who looks up to me, she knows she has to get a degree. There's no ifs or buts about it. Sure, there are other shortcuts that can help you get to the next level faster. Had you skipped that, I don't want the shortcuts. I want her to go through the same route. I want her to learn the hard way and really understand everything that this country has to offer. And one of them is the amazing education.
And I actually want to touch base on that because I am also a daughter of an immigrant.
Yes.
And it is very much stressed growing up that you need to get a college education. And I think it's mainly because, it's from the color of our skin, right?
Yeah.
And because of the color of our skin, we had to prove more.
Work extra hard.
We had to work extra hard and make sure we have our credentials in order.
That's right.
So in the event that we're going to apply for a job or opening a business or whatever the case may be, we already have our foundation.
That's right.
Whereas, the lighter folks of the United States of America, I got nothing against them. I got nothing but love for all colors of the rainbow. But for the lighter parts of the U.S., they don't necessarily need to have their documentation in order, right? So
That's right.
I can 1,000% agree that an education is very important. Now, what you want to do with it later on is up to you. But, it is important to have that kind of, as you said, checked off in your books.
That's right.
What motivates you to get out of bed every morning? Like, what makes Tereza pop in the morning?
Do you know how little it takes to make Tereza pop on a daily basis? I don't understand why people rely on so many external outside things to make them really get excited or hyped up about life. I'll give you a story to just kind of clarify what
Mind
I
your
mean
coffee.
by this. When I was a teller at Wells Fargo, this sort of goes back to my background. There was these surveys we would get from 1 to 5. People would rate us based on the service we would provide, and that survey meant the world to me. And they would have to rate us a 5 in every single category for it to be considered a good survey. So every time that I would walk in, my number one goal was to find out, did I get a survey and was it a good survey? And if I got a good survey, if you saw my victory dance, if you saw my victory song, I mean, it was probably a disaster to watch, but it happened every single time. And I remember one of the employees there, she approached me and she said, I'm jealous how little it takes to make you happy, how little it takes to get you this excited. I was hurt at first. I thought, oh my God, does this mean I'm simple? Does this mean...
Do I have low standards?
Do I have low standards?
Yeah.
That's exactly what crossed my mind. I said, what am I doing wrong? What do I have to do differently? And then it hit me. No, I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate that it takes very little to get me hyped up. It takes very little to get me excited because imagine if I have more than very little. Oh my God, I'm unstoppable. So honestly, every day that I wake up, I don't need meditation. Of course, gym sounds amazing. Of course, it's healthy. I encourage people to go to the gym. I don't need any external things to get me going. I myself am a very goal-oriented person, and I myself know exactly what I need to do on a daily basis to get to the next level. So every morning I wake up, I have a plan. I have a to-do list. I can't stay in bed because I'm going to be backed up on my to-do list, and I love what I do on a daily basis.
Now, when is that to-do list made?
At night, right before I close my eyes, when I can't handle it anymore. I'm so exhausted. I had a full day. At night, I make the to-do list, and then next morning, I conquer it.
Excellent. I love that. Okay. I actually want to get back to one thing. I know we mentioned what the typical realtor is according to National Association of Realtors, right? We have typical realtor is a 56-year-old white female who attended college and is a homeowner. 66% of all realtors are females, and the median age 56 again. And according to Association of Real Estate Licensed Law Officials, ARELO, there's over 3 million active real estate license in the United States of America. Okay? We got 3 million of us running around.
Wow.
So based off those stats, how is it that you make your numbers in what we call our fun Los Angeles market, right?
Yeah.
Where majority, from what I can see, majority of the real estate agents don't really fit that typical shell.
Sure.
Based on what NAR is saying. But from your perspective, is that something that's ever crossed your mind while you're up and doing your business on a day-to-day basis? Or is it something that is not even just a thing for you to even think about? Like you do your thing and you do it.
Can I tell you, when you do something with so much passion and with so much dedication and you're really in it for the people, you're doing it for all the right reasons, you don't have the time to pause and think where you've gotten to. You don't have the time to pause and think how much success you've had. The only time I found out that I was the 16th agent in all of California, not bragging, is when someone messaged me about it and said, this report came out and I'm shocked like how far you've come. I'm like, oh my God, I've come this far. The only time I found out I was the best agent of my company, Coldwell Banker Hallmark Realty, is when they did an award ceremony and they gave me the biggest award on the table. It didn't even cross my mind that biggest thing, shining bright, was meant for me, and it had my name on it. So when you're busy doing it and living life to the fullest and really enjoying every moment you're enjoying with your client, you don't pause to think like, what have I done, right? So I honestly get notifications from others around me to remind me where I've gotten to. And even though the standard is 56-year-old white female, never did it cross my mind, oh my God, I'm not a 56-year-old white female, so I can't do this. No, it was like, bring it on, watch me do it.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh,
that fire again, that fire. I'm getting warm over here.
I told you I don't need alcohol for this.
Girl, you haven't seen me on alcohol. This is not alcohol. Okay, so, all right. So I'm going to end with this. What is one piece of advice you would give to a newer agent or any person getting into an industry where they don't see like people that look the same as them, right? Like what would you give them as far as advice to break those barriers or not even worry about them?
Our world is full of problems, issues, challenges. I think number one is stop getting distracted with the noise.
Okay.
Ignore the noise. That's part of the noise. Oh, you don't look the part, or you don't look the age, or you don't have the experience. That's noise. Stop with the distractions. Focus on yourself. What are you doing to work on yourself, to better yourself on a daily basis? And stop with the excuses. The moment you stop making excuses is when you will actually start holding yourself accountable for your own success. So someone new in the industry, I would say, don't expect anything to be handed to you. I know a lot of new realtors, they're shopping these brokerages. They're like, okay, let me try this. Okay, no, this didn't work out. Let me try that. I think they're looking for a shortcut. They're trying to identify how is it that others are successful without really asking themselves, what activities have I done? How much effort have I put into this? How much hours have I put into this? Do I really want it bad enough? Or am I just looking for a shortcut to success? There's no shortcut to success.
Definitely not.
Anyone successful you talk to, they'll share their journey. They'll share their sleepless nights. They'll share the amount of sacrifice they've made, the amount of vacations they've skipped on, the amount of outings they've skipped on. Because when you're dedicated to something, you're sacrificing something else, whether it's friendships, whether it's personal relationships, whether it's family, whether it's fun, right? Celebrations. There's no shortcut. You have to make sacrifices in order to get there. And when you do get there, I promise you it's well worth it.
Oh my God. This has been so insightful. And when I was reading about you and being a little stalker last night, I'm like, let me check on my girl over here. It was just so fascinating to me how your foundation, I mean, coming from the same type of background as far as the lending or the banking side, I can see how that benefits your foundation to pull that into your real estate business.
Sure.
And from what I saw on your team, like you were managing 56 people.
That's right.
So for you to build your own team is without question.
That's
right. That was something that I'm sure was definitely on your list of things that needed to be checked off.
And it was so organic too. Like it happened naturally. There wasn't like, oh, here's a plan and I'm going to do this. People gravitated towards me and said, can I learn from you? And I said, okay, well, let me select the ones that stand out most and let me offer them the help that they need because I know I didn't have it when I was new in the industry.
That's excellent. And that is the thing about our business is there's so much to give, but you have to give to the right people.
That's right.
Because you want to also protect your energy. And not everyone is appreciative of the energy that you give them. So to say that, you have to make sure you select the right individuals, that's how you're going to build a successful team. And I can see that, girl. I mean, shoot. You have within the last 12, according to Zillow, within the last 12 months, 124 sales. That's what Zillow is saying. I guarantee that's not including all
There's
the,
a
little bit of side, little side pieces here and there. With 93 5-star reviews. God damn.
Woo.
There's some Yelpers out there that don't even have 93 reviews out. There's not even a lot of restaurants that have 93 reviews.
I love it.
So
I love it.
For you to have 93 reviews on Zillow alone, that's fabulous.
Thank
and
you.
again, you started off with asking every day at work, at the bank, where are my reviews?
That's right.
Right? And look where you are today with them.
Here are my reviews.
Girl, I got a 5-star review for you right now. This
I
has been
appreciate
fabulous.
you so much.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing the insight. I didn't want to get into nitty gritty because I know someone just paid for your time.
That's right.
For your dirty little
$1,700.
secrets.
No big deal. No big deal.
And we really appreciate you spending your time with us here at Rubbing Elbows.
I loved it so much. I look forward to doing this again.
Oh, yes.
With
And
more success
I would
stories.
love to go for a hookah date. I mean,
Ooh,
off.
with Turkish coffee.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
done.
Yes.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
It's a date.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for everyone for watching. See you next time.